We're speaking with Scott Shepard of the National Center. We're talking about corporate proposals, proxy votes, and we mentioned ESG, environment, social, governance. Scott, describe what the G is in ESG.
The G is, as you say, governance. It's supposed to be about just corporations running well, efficiently, for the best the best advantage of their owners, which is to say the shareholders.
So what you're doing is actually working with your Proxy Navigator tool, which we'll explain in a second, but you're actually working something that's positive for governance. It could be considered a pro-ESG, in a fair sense, proposal.
Well, I mean, look, if you analyze it honestly, we're not just good for governance, we're good for the E and the S too. Because for the S, does any honest person think that reintroducing race, sex, and orientation discrimination throughout the American culture is going to be good for social development or good for the people supposedly benefited by it? And likewise, the absolute purest truth about environmental protection is that the richer a country gets, the more completely it protects its environment. So what we need for that is affordable, reliable, as clean as possible energy. As we move forward, the country will get cleaner and the world will get cleaner. But instead, these idiots want to put us on unreliable, expensive energy, which, by the way, isn't any cleaner and has all the same problems or more, because just getting cobalt out of the Congo involves slave and forced labor well, finish that yourself. But yeah, we're on the side of G and E and S.
Yeah, so this is actually good for America, what you're doing, and you're giving people an opportunity to vote their shares and investment managers to vote their shares in a way that's good, actually, really, truly for ESG, but more importantly, is good for American shareholders. So describe what the Proxy Navigator is, how you created it, and how people can use it.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate this because we put together an app, or it's a web browser tool as well, called Proxy Navigator. And all year it'll offer all sorts of information about these companies. So if you want to know who's woke, who's left, according to the 1792 exchange, to the Viewpoint Diversity Index, to Red Balloon, and we're going to be adding others, you can see their analyses right there on the app. But perhaps most importantly, as shareholder season starts, you can use that app, use your control numbers from your proxy ballots, and so can your investment advisors and others, to vote your shares held directly to a company, not in an ETF. You can vote those shares in favor of your policy preferences. And if you're on our side of the bench, we provide recommendations how to vote. This year, it'll be about 80 to 100 of the biggest companies where most of the shareholder proposals go. Next year, we hope to cover the whole S&P 500.
Wow, that's a huge thing. So when you get these complicated pieces of paper coming in from Morgan Stanley or from Merrill Lynch or whatever your broker-dealer is, and they've got these votes, and you go and vote electronically, and you don't know how to vote, you can turn right now for 80, I'm presuming, of the largest American companies, 80 to 100, and you can see what the proposal's really about, and then you can see recommendations on how to vote regarding it. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. You can see our recommendation categories if you want to trust us and automate to not think about it again and always go with our recommendations, or down to individualize. We explain our vote on every single recommendation we make, so you can decide on that basis as well.
Well, I can imagine a lot of people don't vote their own proxies. I've been an investment advisor for years. My firm has voted the shares of our underlying clients. This is a great tool for investment managers, for registered investment advisors, for ETF managers, and so forth.
Well, obviously, I agree completely. And if any of your viewers happen to know anybody in that position, if they'd pass the information along, we'd be greatly obliged.
Well, like we do with all our shows, we'll put this in an economic battle plan, so that we'll send it to all the people who signed up for a free economic battle plan, so they can just go right to it. But what does it cost?
Not a thing. Not a thing. There might eventually be some charges for big organizations, so we can provide it free to smaller users forever, but that is absolutely our goal.